Hi everybody, it's Dennis, the Active Trend Trader. Are you one of the traders who has a difficult time finding great growth stocks to trade every weekend? Well, we've got the answer in today's video. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options. We're going to cover three things. Our panel of expert traders has picked out 3 top shelf growth stocks that are setting up and ready potentially to trade next week. Number 2, an analysis of the indexes, showing which ones are strongest, which ones are weakest, and what the potential is for a move next week. And then we'll also cover another trading problem or issue that you may be having, and we'll provide an answer to that will help you, 1, maximize your profits and minimize your losses. So let's get into today's session right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome you to today's session of How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options, plus some trading tips from our panel of elite stock traders and option traders. A couple of questions I have for you before we get started. 1, what are you doing to protect yourself and protect your profits in the current potential market correction? And 2, with every correction comes new opportunities. What are you doing to identify those new opportunities? And if you want to just drop a note there in the chat box, I'd really appreciate it. Just say, hey, what are you doing? Are you looking at a particular thing? Are you looking at taking profits off the table? Which I always think, if the market is going to correction, and let's say you're up 10%, there's not a reason in the world to let that profit go to 0 when you can move a stop loss up to at least capture 4% of that or so. And if you're up 4 or 5%, why not put a stop loss at break even or maybe a percentage below it? And guess what? It saves your capital just for when you're ready to reinvest as you're getting new setups. And so Steve and Anil, what do you guys do for to when the market's starting to do this? If you have profitable position, do you start adjusting things?
Yeah, I tighten my stop usually. I might even, just like you said, I might take some profit and put a tighter stop.
What about you, Steve? You're not mute. You got to unmute, man. Steve, you got to unmute.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Generally, what I do is move my stop to break even as soon as possible, usually 2-3 days after a trade. And then I'm more relaxed about trailing a stop, but I will trail a stop up as it progresses, as it plays out.
That's an awesome idea. Guys, make a note of that tip, because that's a really great one. So in other words, if you become profitable, and let's say it's profitable 3 or 4 days from now, regardless of how far it's up, you'll go ahead and start trailing your stop at about break even. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's an excellent idea, especially if you're trading options, especially trading options, because options are two-edged swords with a lot of variables that bounce around. So, and now if you're joining us on, if you are looking on the Zoom panel, I would want to cover one thing really quick. You probably see the 3 screens of those 3 handsome guys there in the panel. Well, up in the right-hand corner of now they may be plugged right here, but you can go into that, and there's a little block up above that where our pictures show up, and you can basically click on that and tell it to show full screen, but to position the pictures on the side, and you'll have your full screen, but then on the side of it, it will just show the video of what we're doing. And that way, so if you've never done that with your Zoom, that's exactly how to do that. So let's jump into today's session. We've got a lot to cover. So Okay, there we go. As we like to do, basically, if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your losses, active trend trading system is for you. We've tested, proven, cleared, a simple system designed to show you where we're going to buy, where we're going to sell, and what we're going to buy and sell, and what to expect. I've been watching the market today. In this particular video, or in this particular live webinar, we'll talk about the market index in a review. And then, as usual, Steve, Anil, and myself will have a stock to provide. I was telling both Steve and Anil prior to going live is that the picks that we've done so far this year, they're actually doing quite well. And I just kind of let them tick out and let them run so we can keep an eye on them through the end of the year. And we've got some stocks, some that are up, like 80% on QFin. And I think the worst one we have is like down currently about 15%. And but again, it's an excellent place. If you are too busy, it solves a situation for you where it provides you some stocks at least to narrow your watch list down prior to going into the week out. So stocks to pick by the elite traders, and stock checkup if you have a stock you want us to take a look at where you can in fact throw that out. Remember that the materials we do provide are for training purposes. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication of or a promise of future performance. And one of our members, Mark, says the autopilot trading growth stocks you send out. Yeah, I send 5 of those out every week. RVLV. Yeah, RVLV, is doing really well. It took off. And then the other one, FTNT also has taken up. It's almost up 20+% so far. And I love that concept of the autopilot fire and forget type of way to go. So here's where we're sitting. The market did pull back a little bit this week. But as you see, active trend trading is, as I've said earlier, because we have accelerated compounding every month, we will accelerate and overtake the indexes, because the indexes are pushing towards the higher level of what they normally do on an average. And we're anticipating continuing to move up, and we'll continue to compound through the year. That's one of the things I love about swing trading, is that it provides you that opportunity to do accelerated compounding and move up. I don't normally, let's jump into the index review. I don't normally look at the Dow and or the Dow or the Dow transportation, just Dow transportation. As you can see, this is looking kind of bearish on a daily chart here on the left, on the right, weekly chart on the left. We're approaching the 20-week moving average, which corresponds to the 100. We're pushing down past old support, and we are now, all of the moving averages in the daily chart are what? They are sloped to the downside. They haven't all become stacked to the downside, but it kind of changes the complexion of what's going on. What about the Dow? Well, Dennis, you have to put in the right number. There we go. And the reason I don't watch the Dow that much is it doesn't have as many stocks on it. There we go. And similar thing here. Look what's going on. Intraday, we have taken out that past swing low. That's significant. We have had a close yesterday below the 50. That's significant. We've had the 820 turnover and cross, and now breaking through the 34. That's significant. We've got all the momentum indicators facing down. That's significant. That sounds like a broken record, doesn't it, guys? We've got the Dow itself over here. The TSI has broken down here. And just this past week, it appears as if the market MACD is also going to cross to the downside. And you've got that one red histogram stick on the MACD also facing down. And so what is this telling us? Do we know how far it may go this way? Heavens no, we don't. But it may, this may present itself as any type of long side trades may have a struggle going forward. And we want to be really cautious. It's a great time. I mean, there's not a darn thing wrong with taking long side stock trades because we're going to provide you 3 of them today. However, you want to be a little bit more cautious, keep your stops a little bit closer, maybe take a smaller position because the growth stocks tend to take off faster than the indexes. So it's just a matter of being prepared. We don't want to be left behind if the market do in fact turn off and take back up. And oftentimes, as I said, the growth stocks turn around a little bit earlier. So what do we have going on the S&P? Well, the S&P, the moving averages are starting to slope down. We had basically a bang on the 2020 broke. Now we are in a range between the 34 and the 50. What may happen is price action may ping pong between those two, or we may get a bounce up into the past moving averages, or then and this rally attempt will then tell us if it fails and things stall out, that we're probably going to go ahead and go a little bit further down to the downside. Over the weekend, it's a good time to lay out where is a 10% correction. And because a 10% correction oftentimes marks the place where a market will actually bounce from. So let's lay out get that. Lays out where there we go. So go ahead and just, in your research, your analysis over the weekend, just figure out, okay, where's a 10% retracement as I'm continuing to move down? Now 10% is down here about the 380, let's say the 385 level, which you'll look over on the left-hand side, that is right at the 40-week moving average, which corresponds approximately to the 200-day moving average. Which is, as you can see, it's about 6 points above that, but there's the 200. So that gives you an idea. Price actions on this S&P can correct and be, within 10% correction and drop all the way to 385. It's just what it does by knowing what those levels are, folks, is it gives you hopefully a sense of confidence, a little bit more confidence, and say, this is where things will probably turn around. And so I'm going to hang in until we potentially get there. The weekly, we're getting a bearish engulfing, TSI turning over, MACD turning over. Next, NASDAQ. NASDAQ looked a little bit healthier this morning than the other indexes. So right now, NASDAQ, the healthiest of the indexes, it's above all the moving averages. However, we have a bearish Harami, spinning top doji, which is a bearish reversal signal. We need to confirm to the downside by taking out some of these moving averages. I don't know if I would, I don't think I would necessarily put in a short trade over the weekend based on this, even though it is a reversal signal. What about the weeklies? Again, weekly, we're getting a spinning top at resistance. That's it. Everything else, the matter of fact, the MACD looks on the weekly, looks like it's stacked and wants to spin up to the upside along with the TSI. So MACD I like better to the upside. So here's the way I would trade it. I would look at the NASDAQ, the Qs, for potential long trades in the indexes, I would look to my next one, Russell, for potential downside trades, and you'll know why when you see it. Russell is breaking all the way down below the 50. Now, is it where I would want to short it right now? The purple box is reflective of the Fibonacci, the magic fib box. It's the 38 to the 618 retracement from the low here to the high here, or no, from the low here to the high here. I erased that to take a look at the longer perspective. And as you can see, from this last move that went on from September of last year, and we've driven sideways with it, if we had a 23% retracement of that, would take us down to 212, which is right there, strong last past resistance. And so the way I want to design my anticipation is at those defined level of past support, because somewhere, and let me draw you a picture of this, somewhere in this little box right there, there is buyers waiting that could potentially stop the downside slide and reverse it to move back to the upside. Again, it is significant that things have broken down below the moving averages, and any bounce, any rally attempt would be just that, just a rally attempt back into these new dynamic resistant areas formed by the moving averages. Watch for stalling and then a drop down from there. So that's what I've got going on the indexes, guys. Sorry, it took a little bit longer than normal, but comments, thoughts? So I'm looking to, if I'm going to trade to the downside, I'll be looking towards the IWM. If I want to trade to the long side, I'll be looking towards the NASDAQ.
I'm a bit more neutral. On Wednesday, I went cautious in terms of my buying attitude, because we settled below a level that I think is important. The ADMA, we closed under, and we've not, and then it looked like we reversed back yesterday, but today we're following through to the downside. So since end of day Wednesday, I'm in a no trade mode.
Okay.
I'll be waiting for long trades anyway. I'll be waiting for a resumption of the market before I would follow through with new buys. Right. Meanwhile, I'm just managing the trades that I have on. The market's got to get a little bit weaker and then a bounce for me to get interested in the short side.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Anil?
My indicators so far are okay, except Dow. And so okay. I'm okay. And as far as the NASDAQ is concerned, that looks the healthiest, and that's where my stock would be.
Okay. Let's see, Barry asked a question, why wouldn't prior buyers sell versus buying more to shore up the price of IWM, forcing the price? You know, Barry, that's one of the things, that's a potential thing of happening. And so, yes, these buyers here could just stand aside. And the reason I say that, you know, the ones who didn't get in down here, they've targeted when price action gets down here with IWM, that's when they would potentially like to get in. If they don't show up, which oftentimes happens, especially when we start going into a more severe correction, if the buyers don't show up, that's okay. It just means we are going to drop down to probably the next level of support, because if you, which that next level of support is where the next pocket of buyers that are hanging out. The other thing I want to do here also is I also want to project down from my high here. Where is 10%? As you can see, look at there. There's 8. So there's, so right back here at the 212, 211 area. is about 9%. 10% is about 210. So I want to be aware of those levels, and it does correspond with, you can see over here, it corresponds with these areas on these two long-tailed candlesticks right here. It corresponds with about the 208 to 209. That's 10%. And so, oh no, hopefully the people who had already bought at those levels are hopefully protecting their profits and basically, taking some of the positions off the table. So we've got a couple of great stocks today. And so I'm going to start with Steve, because Steve, you got a lot of explaining to do, man.
Okay, it's Upstart UPST. It's an IBD 50 stock, fairly highly ranked. It's been on the IBD 50 for a couple of weeks now. I like it's been in a very strong trend, a nice trend to the upside. We're in a pullback, and we seem to be holding at the 50-period moving average.
Like it?
So I think it's a place to look for a buy. But I'm cautious on the market. So I'll be a buyer on Monday only if the market doesn't move further to the downside.
Okay.
If the market has a bounce and looks like it's putting in a reversal, and we can trade higher than yesterday's high or today's high, then I will be long the stock. So if the market rolls over and goes further, I would not want to be taking a position in this stock.
Yeah, the reason I said you have a lot of explaining to do is because this was Anil's pick from last week.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
I said this was Anil's pick from last week.
Oh! I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I like it this week a lot better.
Okay. So Anil, you still like this one?
Yeah, I still like this one. It has come down. So if I was buying it, if I didn't have it and buying it, I might wait, just like Steve said.
Yeah. One of the things, and part of the thing is you don't know until the price action does what it's supposed to do. Is we've got a couple of things here happening. We're getting a pullback, consolidation. This consolidation is going to either resolve by going back up, or it's a flag pattern and it's going to resolve by breaking to the downside.
That's correct. You could do either.
Yeah, it's an either or, and a perfect example of something that did this recently is our buddy Cat. And Anil, we're going to jump over to your stock here momentarily. Look at this. Cat sold off with whatever the bad news was last week. We highlighted it. It drove sideways for a couple of days and then broke down further. So the target on Cat, if we were just basically to throw in a target on this, go back to here, grab that line, go down to here, and I'm going to grab that line, activate it, the trend line, there we go, activate the trend line, there we go, and I'm going to slide this down, come on, there we go, slide it down to where it would break out, which is approximately there, and as you can see, that gives you a downside target on Cat of about 185. So again, and here's where I was expecting to move back up into the moving averages and then a fail. This is actually a stronger move to the downside. So watch a retest of the breakdown level, again, with that 185 as a target to the downside. That was a free stock to everybody. Anil, sorry about that. Anil.
Yeah, my stock, the market's being the way it is, I usually go on the strongest stock that I find on the Delaware focus list.
Yeah.
And that is Align, ALGN.
Okay, it is on in daily on the right and the weekly on the left on the chart.
Yeah, and I'll pick it up if it breaks yesterday's high, that would be my buy point, and with a 5% stop loss.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, this is a nice move higher. Now this is a biotech stock, right?
Forget the industry. They are in that, what do you call it?
Drugs, yeah. They're basically pharmaceutical.
Yeah, it's pharmaceutical, biotech.
Yeah, it's mainly on dentists. They put that aligned, transparent, what do you
Oh,
call
I'm
it?
sorry. It's about teeth straightening. I'm sorry. No, it's not a
Oh,
drug.
okay. Oh, a line.
Line. I'm thinking of Alexion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine.
so I like it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it looks like a really excellent, and I see, wanting to take the breakout here. That
Right.
would be fine, and your upside target would be back up to the past old highs. But it's in a nice little move to the upside.
Yep.
So, and a 5% stop loss. Let's say you picked it up on Monday at the highs, approximately. And a 5% stop loss, yeah, it's going to take you down to about the 50-day moving average. Excellent. So this also, I believe, has weekly options on it. I do believe, maybe not. No, it does. It does have weekly options on it, which is a very, that's another positive for it, in my book. So, hey, my choice today, guys, is I'm going to do the retread here. Dick's Sporting Goods. The reason why, or at least when I looked at it, this is a nice move, moving back down to an existing dynamic trend, dynamic support area of the trend line and the 50-day moving average. We're getting a reversal, bringing it back up through, in kind of an inside day for yesterday. So while an inside day isn't quite a bullish harami, it's close. That can be, and so I would almost look at potentially buying some of this today, maybe a half or a quarter position, with a stop. Just if it fails below the low from yesterday, that swing low, which is at 89.21, I'd probably go down to 88.84 for my stop loss. And then if that failed, it would also probably take me down into this area here. Another level of buyers down here. One of the things that interests, and I'll just point this out to you really quickly. When you have a big gap up like this, yes, you will have a tendency to close the gap, but the middle of the gap, just go ahead and calculate from the high there to the low there, the middle of that gap reflects the strongest level of support, strongest level of support in that gap. We also see this is a past high here. So that's what I've got. I like Dick's, guys. That sounded terribly bad, but I like Dick's Sporting Goods. Thoughts?
Oh, looks
Disagree
good.
at all. I think they're all good picks.
Yeah. So excellent. Hey, so quickly, Barry brings up VSTO as a potential also. What's VSTO? Oh, this outdoor. Okay. Yes, probably similar industry. Oh, yeah, that does look pretty good. That looks sweet. In fact, kind of, a little bit light on the reason I like Dick's is because it has it does have the weekly options. And so excellent. So, okay, gentlemen, that does it for today. Let's wrap things up. I really appreciate good discussion, and for the members on other members online, if you guys have something specific you would like for Steve and Neil and myself to tackle, some question that you have or whatever, if you could send me an email ahead of time, or a particular stock you want us to take a look at, send me an email ahead of time. Most of you should have my email address, dww@activetrendtrading.com. Send me an email, and because I'd like to be able to, pour back into you guys more value, and that may be taking a look at the stock you want us to take a look at. So let's go ahead and close things down. Hey, if you're not an autopilot trading system person, you should be. Let's just say that. Hey, I send that, as Mark said earlier, the body of work on the autopilot trading system is really, really growing and getting better and better. What it does, it provides you 5 stocks, growth stocks, with exact places where I'm going to enter and exit for either a profit or a loss. And and it works. It is basically you put in the orders on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and then you fire them and forget them through the rest of the week. And most of the time, they come out and, well, over 65% they hit their at least profit target number 1, and the ones that don't are stopped out or hit the trailing stop that we adjust up. There's also a top 5, or not top 5, but leverage ETF. And so regularly it runs at $79.99, but with this webinar, if you link into it, we've got a special $19.99 a month, or a little bit more if you want to do both the growth stocks and the leverage ETF. You can find it right here at activetrendtrading.com/autopilot. Hey everybody, this is Dennis. Hey, I wanted to pop in real quick to ask you which one of the 3 stocks we covered today looked the best to you. Leave a comment down in the comments section. But also, I want to highlight, this is such a good deal in the autopilot trading system. I want to make it even better. And how am I going to do that? Well, one, take a look at the yearly membership. You can basically save additional if you on either of these. But I'm going to make it better just for this weekend. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a weekend special for anyone who subscribes to the new, makes a new subscription to the yearly membership for the autopilot leverage ETF. That's this one over here. Is $329 per year. I'm going to basically give you over $1,500 in savings, because I'm going to put in on top of that, add the autopilot top 5 system for you also. Just think about that. That's 7 entities that I'll be sending out pre-flight checklist on Saturday and Sunday, so you can already have your orders in place if you choose to paper trade or parallel trade with us. So that's pretty good. Just remember though, this offer, this weekend pop-up special, it basically ends at 12 midnight Hawaii time on the 21st. That's Monday, June 21st. So, hey guys, if putting some of your trades on autopilot is for you, that's awesome. If not, if you don't want to take advantage of this great opportunity, perhaps it isn't for you. But you may know somebody that it would be absolutely great for. And I'd really appreciate the referral of the active trend trading autopilot system to somebody who trades that who could take advantage of it. So aloha, God bless, enjoy the rest of How to Make Money Trading Stocks for this week. So that's it for today. Continue to make make consistency of trading your standard. That's what you want to achieve. And then basically continue to grow your egg, trade well, prosper. If you're a premium member, we'll be right back at the top of the hour for the final hour, going into next week. And so as the sun sets over the Pacific, now it's not setting yet, but just want to wish everybody aloha, trade well, prosper, start building your nest egg now. It's never too late to start. And so Anil and Steve, thank you, my friends, for discussing the stocks. I have a lot of fun getting to banter with you every weekend.
Our pleasure.
Same here. I'm really enjoying this thing and learning a lot from you. So thank you.
Thank you. And for everybody, happy Father's Day. It's this weekend. So, this guy wants you to remember, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please hit the bell, hit the subscribe and the bell, and there'll be a new training video that'll pop up right there. So until next week, aloha, God bless everybody.